Hello, you all. Just want to uh, talk a little bit about my AFib journey. Just the AFib. I've made a few notes so that I can remember everything. And I think, yeah, maybe somebody else that has gone through the same thing with AFib. Mine is now a long story. I've had it since I was about 21. So mine has been a long journey, but I think I've learned a lot, and I've learned what to expect and what to go through, especially the procedures like the cardioversions, the ablations, the different medicines that I have to use, lifestyle, all those stuff. So some of the stuff or some of the things that I thought I knew over time changed. So maybe okay, this is my story. So I was born with tetralogy of Fallot. That's a congenital heart condition that you're born with. So if that's the main reason, that's what the doctors tell me. They say that's the main reason for AFib. I don't know if it's so. So that's what they say. So I was born with AFib, and then everything was fine. I was operated when I was 5 years old. They corrected my AFib, but because there are scars and lesions on my heart now, because of the four defects that I had to sort out, that's what they say. The main reason is why I have AFib. So lots of people have other reasons or triggers or causes of AFib. They say that's my main cause. But on the other hand, there were certain triggers during my life. So let's say when I was five, I was operated on. Then during my teens, I had palpitations, never in full AFib. I had palpitations, strange heartbeats that I could never figure out, and it was never so long lasting that I had to go to a doctor. So during that my school years, I participated in sport. Everything was fine. I didn't have any trouble with my heart, but I had a few episodes that I don't know what it was. So then I'm going to try and stick to the AFib because the AFib also caused other stuff like anxiety. That's a big thing that I want to talk about on its own one day. But for now, I'm just going to stick to the AFib. So, uh, when I was 21 years old, I went to the Kruger National Park. I had to take malaria pills for that. The, um, I now know the consequences of it is that it can put your heart into a dysrhythmia. That's what happened to me. They say that is let's say, the cause of my first AFib was that I went to AFib because of the malaria pill. So between the age of 21 and 26 was a very difficult time because the doctors, I think they concentrated on the tetralogy of a lot and not so much on or they thought they had to concentrate on that, and they struggled to get me into rhythm. So I was back in rhythm, and then I had palpitations, strange palpitations. So there was a lots of going on there. I went to many different doctors, tried many different medicines that I'm going to talk about at the other stage. Strange, yeah. One medicine is they call it the water. We call it the water pill that lets you urinate a lot because I think there's a water around your heart or whatever. So I did that, and there was lots of struggles during that time. So, but I wasn't in AF or atrial fibrillation at that stage. Then I think when I was 25 or 26, I did go into AFib, and then luckily I was sent to a academic hospital or like a training hospital, and there the doctor uh, was, let's say, well enough. equipped with information, and he did my first cardioversion. So there I did my first cardioversion, and I was fine and not really much medicine. Actually, I think nothing by that time, and everything was well. Then, when I was 26, yeah, that was when I went for my first cardioversion. Then, for the next 4 years, I was fine. At the age of 20, at 30, then yeah, the trouble started. I had my second cardioversion, my third, my fourth, my fifth in that year. And then together with that, the anxiety part came into play. Anxiety and panic. I was still young and I thought, oh, it's the end of the world. I'm going to die. So that's what happened. Now, I'm going to stick to the AFib part for now, just to get that out. Then, so when I was 31, they said that because they only actually do ablations on a structural heart that is not, let's say, been cut on or anything done to it. They didn't want to do ablation on my heart at that stage. That's now a long time ago. I think it was 2002. And so my cardiologist first said, no, he's not going to do or send me for ablation. And by that time, also, there were only a few electrophysiologists, EPs in South Africa. So it was a difficult choice also to make. But then I was sent, when I was 31, I did my first ablation. Then I was 31 years old. Then 2 years after that, I went into AFib again. I was in hospital. They put me on that amiodarone drug. But also there was a pastor that came and prayed for me, and immediately after he left, the AFib was gone. So I was sent home. I didn't have a cardioversion by that or that specific time. Then 2 years after that, actually 5 years, I had a relative good stunt, let's say, of AFib free. Then when I was 39, I had a cardioversion. I think it's because of a caffeinated sports drink or this energy drinks. I don't drink it ever. I never drink the caffeinated sports drinks. But I was on a training ride, cycling training ride, and I was I didn't actually give attention to what I was drinking and what the guy gave me. So there I got that caffeinated sports drink. That put me into AFib, that or dehydration. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's that. Because every time with the AFib, I wanted to find out, I wanted the reason. What's the reason? So that I could avoid it the next time. So every time I went to had AFib, I thought, okay, what did I eat? What did I drink? What did I do? Whatever, I wanted to avoid it. And I think that's most of the patient's story. They want to avoid it. And they think about what put them into AFib. So on that was when I was 39. That was my um, sixth cardioversion. Then my seventh one was because of too much alcohol, or then the dehydration that followed that. Then everything was fine again for about 5 years. I was all right. Then when I was 46, I had another cardioversion. At 47, a cardioversion. 48 years old, a cardioversion. And when I was 48, I had four cardioversions that year. So that was already by the end of that year, I had my 13th cardioversion. And also, when I was 48, then I talked to the doctors again, and they said, no, maybe we'll send me again for an ablation. Because my first ablation, the EP said that he only could do, or that ablation is burning of a part of your heart. That's simple. How I can explain it simple for me. They burn something inside you, one of the pathways inside your heart. So they burn that. And then, so I was sent for my second ablation when I was 48 years old. And that held nearly a year. And then when I was 48, I had my another cardioversion. And then when I was 50 years old, I had another two cardioversions. So nearly at number 15 cardioversions I had. And then when I was 52 years old, I was sent to an EP. This was another EP because my first EP said that he doesn't want to do another cardioversion because they, with the first two cardioversions, they did only the right atrium, and this time they had to go through my septum to the left atrium to do the ablation on that side. The technical stuff, I have the reports and whatever, but I just want to explain what happened, let's say my AFib journey. So they did the third ablation when uh, when I was 52 years old, and it was a big story. I'm also going to make a video about that. Otherwise, this one is going to be too long. About my third ablation. It was actually a very stressful time because the EP said that he's not saying that I'm a guinea pig or something like that, but it is the first time that it's going to do that type of ablation on a tetralogy of a lot patient. So I was sort of the first one to do that. That is also a whole story on its own. And so I thought then that is now the golden thing. It's going to be sorted out. My third ablation. Now I'm cured of AFib. Everything's going to be fine. But about 2 years after that, I went for my, I think, 16th or about this cardioversion because my heart went out. And this time there was no reason. It wasn't, let's say, alcohol, caffeine. It wasn't food. It wasn't exercise. I don't know what it was. So my heart went out of rhythm. I was in AFib again. So that was in 2024, I think. Yeah, that I did. That was my last cardioversion, and then the doctor said he doesn't know what to do with me now because cardioversion is not working. Ablation, the EP said that was he he burned everything that he could. So I'm now looking actually for new answers, alternatives. I have already started with alternatives. The basic stuff like magnesium must be high, your diet, exercise, health. I sort of have that to in a sort of way under control. But I'm looking at alternatives also because let's say the standard medical procedures, they say they can't do anything now. So I'm looking for answers now, but that is just maybe a short story, my AFib story, and then I'll make other videos about the the side shows of anxiety, the type of drugs, the influence they have on you, side effects of that. So I'll do that. But yeah, you can. I have made previous videos a few years ago on my channel of the experience that I had, and then the times when my heart went out of rhythm in AFib. I thought what it was, and it was also during this COVID time that it happened. But yeah, so you can check out a few of my other videos. One I made about my second ablation also. And you can, yeah, maybe make comments, suggest what you think I should do with my journey of AFib. But yeah, please subscribe also. I'm going to make a few other videos also of my AFib journey and what are stuff that or things that I know you should or should not do or what can help you. Okay, bye.